Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I just want to say thank you so much for this honor. It's truly a pleasure to be with you all as the Sara McLanahan Fellow, who I knew and deeply admired and respected. And I want to again thank AAPSS, those who nominated and voted for me, and all of the mentors and colleagues in the room. I stand on your shoulders, and I'm immensely grateful for all that you've done. So I'd like to take a moment to share a few lessons I've carried with me that speak to the question of the day about truth in the social sciences. Ones that I've learned from my mentors, ones that I've developed through hard lessons along the way, and those that I've had the privilege of passing on to my students. They've guided my work and shaped my understanding of what it means to do social science in ways that matter. Lesson 1. Begin with truth-telling. Restoring trust begins with honesty about the times when social science has fallen short and about the harms those missteps have caused, about the full mirror of society, as we've heard today. Acknowledging that present, acknowledging that history is not about dwelling on failure, but about showing what we have learned along the way and what we are committed to doing better. When we face our disciplinary past with humility, we open the door to more meaningful partnerships and more credible knowledge. Number 2, replace extraction with reciprocity. The future of research lies in reciprocity. When communities are co-creators helping to shape the understandings, shaping the information, sharing in the benefits, our work becomes richer, more relevant, more trusted. By building relationships grounded in respect and mutual gain, social science can be a tool for collective empowerment. I certainly learned this through the work that I've done, particularly with my work on women living with HIV, in which a commonly heard phrase in the HIV community is nothing about us without us. Lesson 3, design research for public impact. Social science is at its best when it connects rich empirical discovery with real-world change. Imagine if every research agenda began with the question, who will this help and how? The value assigned to our evidence and arguments would be hard to deny. When people can see their lives reflected in our findings and our policy recommendations, they are far more likely to believe in the power of what we do. Lesson 4. Boldly defend knowledge in an age of assault. We also have to be clear about the times we're living in and exactly what we're up against, even at the risk of sounding like a broken record. We must articulate the ways in which universities, history, and the very idea of truth are under systemic attack. That makes our work not just an academic pursuit, but an act of public service. By speaking clearly and courageously about what we know to be true, we demonstrate that knowledge itself is a key pillar in a functioning democracy, responding to the systematic attack. Lesson 5, make the case for social science again and again. At its core, social science offers hopeful promise, the evidence that can help us build fairer, more effective, and more humane systems and institutions. We need to remind people, policymakers, philanthropy, and community partners why that promise matters and what is lost if it's undermined. When we share that vision with conviction, trust in social science can not only be restored, but renewed to tackle the many pressing challenges of our time. And lesson 6, invest in future talent, those coming behind us. I could probably go from table to table and talk about each of you in a way that is meaningful, the ways in which you've helped me along the way, the way you've influenced my work, the way in which you've been a role model, often when you didn't even realize it. Of course, I can tell the story of Sheldon and Sandra Danziger and the ways in which they mentored me throughout my career and gave me a home when I was working on my first book. I could talk about Zav and the way in which he gave me a job at the Department of Health and Human Services for a summer when I was a graduate student and trying to understand how could social science be relevant for public policy. And I can also tell the story of Susan Silby. When I was a student at Spelman College, I went on domestic exchange at Wellesley, and I took a sociology class called Power, taught by Susan Silby. I think I was 10 and I think you were 15. But in 1994, that class helped to solidify my conviction that I wanted to get a PhD in sociology. So to close, these lessons are less a roadmap than a shared responsibility. They remind us that social science is not just about studying the world, but about shaping it for the better, about using our knowledge, our relationships to illuminate possibility, to widen imagination, and to advance the public good. If we approach that task with humility, with reciprocity, with courage, and with purpose, then we stand a real chance of rebuilding trust in social science, not just as research, but as a tool for meaningful social progress and democratic possibility. Thank you.